We obviously heard from general manager John Lynch yesterday in regards to the Brandon Aiyuk situation, and there was no real definitive answers that were given. But what was said was in an optimistic tone. So you either felt really good about it or you're just kind of like, well, we'll wait and see. Well, Mike Silver has put out a pretty interesting report that essentially says that we aren't out of the weeds yet in regards to a potential Brandon Ayuk trade, and it could actually happen. And this is from a 49ers source. I want to make that abundantly clear because a lot of the things that we have covered so far is from other teams, other sources. We haven't really heard all that much directly from the San Francisco 49ers. And according to Mike Silver, there are some things that we need to be on the lookout for, including we have draft compensation, an actual pick of what it would take to get Brandon Ayuk. And this article is pretty interesting. Let's take a look at it. And I pulled some of the nuggets out of this article on the SF Chronicle, and you can go read the whole thing over there. But these are the things that stood out to me that Mike Silver wrote. He says, based on what I'm hearing from knowledgeable sources inside the building and from high ranking personnel executives and coaches around the league, don't rule out a deal that would send Brock Purdy's favorite target to another team. Well, if you wanted to have your anxiety cooled a little bit about the potential of Brandon Ayuk getting traded, this definitely isn't the video for you because obviously you're hearing from both sides here. And if there's anyone who's plugged in, it's Mike Silver. I've seen it firsthand in action at the NFL Combine. Dude knows everyone. And this is from sources inside the 49ers and other executives and coaches around the league. So essentially, they are not ruling out a potential deal, but there's more information in this article. So let's take a look at it. As the article goes on and continues to say, all I know is that as of Monday night, when I posed the question to a 49er source with direct knowledge of the team's plans, the words I kept hearing were anything's possible. Well, if the 49ers weren't going to trade Brandon Ayuk or didn't have plans to trade Brandon Ayuk, why would that be an answer? Right? Because you would believe that it would be like, oh, all the rumors, all the smoke and the noise that we've heard, you know, it it's all BS, right? So why would a knowledgeable source inside the 49ers say anything is possible? Mike Silver goes on to say, earlier I spoke to another team's general manager who insisted that because the 49ers and Ayuk are far apart on negotiations for a lucrative contract extension, the fifth-year receiver is very much in play. And that is the key element. The fact that they are far apart obviously puts this situation into a real category of the potential to get traded, because if the two sides don't feel that they are close or will get close, then the 49ers need to make a decision. The decision is, okay, well, if we don't feel that we can pay Ayuk what he's looking for, then we have to go to plan B. And plan B would be to trade Brandon Ayuk. So Mike Silver goes on to say, during the first week of April, the 49ers, through a back channel confidant, reached out to at least one general manager to gauge his interest in trading for Brandon Ayuk. The GM in question chose not to engage, partly because this is considered a receiver rich draft. So, again, very, very interesting because everything we've heard has been through rumors, has been through outside channels of the San Francisco 49ers. This is our very first report of multiple sources inside the 49ers indicating that Just like it says right here, a potential Brandon Ayuk trade apparently is very much in play. And not only that, we have the compensation that it would take to get Brandon Ayuk, according to Mike Silver. He goes on to say there is a sense among other high ranking personnel executives around the league that Ayuk, as one such executive put it, is available for the right price. To this point, the 49ers have asked for a 2024 first round pick. Quote, they want too much, said the executive, whose team is in the market for a wide receiver. This is crazy because this is the most credible report that we have gotten about this Brandon Ayuk situation since this whole situation went down. I think that's very, very important to know. And it's also part of the reason why we have covered every step of the way to try to discern what's credible, what's not. Right now, this is the most credible thing that we've heard. These are sources including high-level executives, general managers, people inside the 49ers organization. And we have a situation where not it's being presented as the 49ers have asked for a 2024 first round draft pick, meaning conversations have happened for that to be a reality. All right. Things are heating up a little bit. However, another team's GM said he believes the 49ers might ultimately accept a second round selection. Such a deal might become more enticing to Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan if that pick were near the start of the second round and packaged with another selection, say a 2025 first rounder. First of all, to kind of react to that last part, I would hate that. A second round pick plus a late, a future third. Uh, they go on to say that the second round pick would likely have to be a high second, so in the 30s, um, to make it as close to a first round pick as possible, which I understand that. But if you were looking for confidence that Brandon Ayuk was not going to be shopped during the NFL draft, this is the last thing that you wanted to hear. And again, it's part of the reason why I've been saying we just have to wait and see how it plays out. We just have to get through the draft. If we get through the draft, Brandon Ayuk is likely here to stay. Yeah, but up until then, anything's possible. And right now, with this situation, with Brandon Ayuk potentially getting traded, it just got really real. Because again, when you look at it, and again, we understand people are going to challenge the credibility of reports, the credibility of the reporter. I get it. But this is the first, I would say Mike Silver is the most credible reporter with this type of information that we've had throughout this entire situation. Now, I agree, some of it has been BS, some of it has just been poorly sourced reports. But this situation uh, is very interesting. And to be honest, the sounds of it is it's in line with some of the things that we heard from BA's agent saying that he hasn't requested a trade. And that might very well be the case. Maybe BA hasn't really requested a trade, but he has definitely made it known that he wants to get paid and will leverage the social media and tweet at Mike Tomlin. And maybe the 49ers are like, okay, all right, well, then let's go. Let's do the song and dance and let's see what we can get. Uh, I thought it was a well put together report by Mike Silver. And again, Mike Silver nailed probably like the first couple moves the 49ers made in free agency based on what he was hearing internally. And so he's proven to be a credible source. He was right about the Trey Lance arm fatigue thing. He's been right. And he's, he really does have connections all over the league. I was talking to Mike Silver at the NFL Combine, and he was like, "Oh, hold on one second. I got to go say what up to Andy," because Andy Reid was getting off the podium and kind of making his way through, and Go gives him a big bro hug and just chops it up with Andy Reid like they're homies. Like Mike Silver knows people. He's connected. He's been in this industry for a long time. So he's a guy that I definitely trust when it comes to these types of sourced reports. So, what does it all mean? It all means, ladies and gentlemen, that just be prepared. Just be prepared for anything. I've been saying this all off season regarding this situation. Nothing has changed in how I've been reading this. This all makes sense to me based on how the situation has been playing out. And again, all it takes is one team. Everything you've been hearing, they want too much. They want too much. Well, when you look at why Debo Samuel didn't get traded, part of that reason was they wanted too much. So that could happen again. And then BA's here to stay and they figure it out. But based on hearing what John Lynch had to say, how I would say non-committal he was in regards to using definitive language, and now this report, I think it's on the table. We know the 49ers have been doing a ton of homework on wide receivers in this draft class, uh, especially in that second round range. So I think it's something that we got to keep an eye out for. I don't think it's over. And again, the draft is the hinge point for this situation to go one way or the other. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.